Hey Gagan, I thought I'd basically make a quick video for you in terms of the marketing activities and to kind of give you a high level on how we want to roll about things. Okay, so this is one document that you will be using a lot. It's called Growth Spartan Performance Master Tracker. And let me give you a high level on what are the things that we want to do. So by December 2018, we want to be doing 100,000 visits a month on the Growth Spartan blog. Okay. And we want to collect 10,000 email addresses by December 2018. So we are in month four of this year. So that means we need to be, uh, I want to basically make sure we're doing at least 2,000 visits a month by the end of by the end of April. And we'll be creating 8 blog posts a month. We'll be creating checklists, we'll be creating infographics. There'll be a lot of stuff that we'll be doing. Okay. Uh, your role in this, Gagan, is honestly the most crucial because remember, 20% of it is creation of content and 80% of it is distribution of content. Okay. What I would also recommend is bookmarking Trello. So I've added you to Trello, and you have access to this. So you've integrated Mailchimp, you've integrated the exit overlay. So thank you for that. Okay. Now things have been a little slow, as in like there was a small delay in terms of the blog article going live. But I want to walk you through if let's say one blog article went live, how do we go about distribution of that content piece? Okay. So let's say we started with Chumbak. Okay. So as you can see Chumbak, we have the complete marketing breakdown. Girish should have pushed that up live, and you'll see it has 4,000 words, at least 8 links. So you can basically see the reference article here, and I think on Growth Spartan you should see it on the draft. Okay, so if you see, go to WordPress, manage domains, Growth Spartan. I'm pretty sure there should be a big part of the draft already in there. Okay, there we go. You see this? Okay, so what is Chumbak? Source of information. This is the timeline, how Chumbak started. Okay, summary of the story. Right? Uh, so this is all exactly what you want to do. Okay. Now, the important bit is once this article kind of goes live, your role here is I've actually placed that as the marketing activities here. Okay, so marketing each blog post. The first thing is I want you to join as many Facebook groups. Okay, so find Facebook groups that are relevant to our demographic. Now, the demographic that we're going after are most marketers, startup founders, okay, as well as aspiring entrepreneurs. I think even people from the agency folks might find this interesting because we're positioning this as how do you like start and scale an e-commerce company, a B2C e-commerce company in India. I want you to join as many Facebooks as possible that are relevant and post this content out there. Second is LinkedIn. I will give you my LinkedIn credentials. Please copy paste this content and push it on LinkedIn. You'll have to do the same thing on Medium. Okay. The fourth thing is find Quora. So this is where it gets interesting. So you have the access to this, okay, and you have something called Quora, and I want you to list on all the topics related to Chumbak that are on Quora.com, where we can, in some sense, push our content out. Okay, so I'll say Chumbak growth. Okay, so there we go. So we have which company is successful without commercially advertising their product, which foreign brands, what are some interesting Indian e-commerce sites. Okay, so I want you to open up each of these, and from my profile, I want you to start posting some of the stuff. I can actually get maybe the content writer to do some of the things as well, but the important bit is we're able to kind of repurpose some of that content. We do not copy the content. Extremely important. You do not copy the content. You repurpose that piece of content and then you place it on Chumbak. You place it on Quora. Okay. So when I say Chumbak growth, how did Chumbak start? Right. So there's apparently a question here. No answers yet. Great. Let's answer this one. Okay. Um, how do you start? How do you start a tech startup as a non-technical person? Again, this is really interesting, right? So this could be relevant. So I want you to basically list down the topic name related to Chumbak, the Quora link, the number of views that question has received. So you can copy this 333 views onto this, okay, and priority. And we should be answering at least 8 to 10 questions related to Chumbak. Okay, I want to go after the high performing views. So I want to go at least the ones which have maybe 2,000 views. Okay, and you want to kind of give them a small excerpt of the piece of content. And you could basically give them, literally, you could copy this piece from here. Okay, like what is Chumbak? But I want you to answer it like how someone would answer it, not just like a standard copy paste onto the blog post. Okay, so how did Chumbak start? You can write like everyone's been super interested in how Chumbak started. Okay, so you're writing it as me. Okay, by the way, if you're struggling with this, you can always tell me and I can get the content writer to write some of the stuff. So, yeah, okay. But you write a small excerpt and be like, hey, listen, this is the summary of what they've done. If you want to see the entire breakdown, check out growthspartan.com/Chumbak, okay? Or Chumbak growth story, okay? So that is for Quora. Then post the content from my Twitter account, tag influencers related to the blog. So now these 4 or 5 is basically my inner circle, right? So we're talking about a reach of maybe 1,500 people, 2,000 people, right? But to actually get 2,000 views in a blog, for this blog to go viral, we need like 15,000 views on this specific blog. So I want you to start thinking big. Like, how do we get an article like this to be featured on Next Big What? How do we get a lot of these publishers interested in promoting our content? So one I would say is influencers, looking at a lot of influencers in the B2C e-commerce space, and being like, hey, listen, like this is the content that has been written on Chumbak. I thought you might find this interesting, and pushing it out from your profile. Maybe you could push it out from my profile. You could also find, you could use the source, go to Ahrefs. I don't think you have access to Ahrefs, right? So what I would do is I'll go to chumbak.com on Ahrefs. Okay. Oh, sign in. This is my work. Oops. This is my work-related Ahrefs, so this might be difficult for you to access. Okay, so I say chumbak.com. Okay. So this seems a little complicated, but I can get to you. But you have something called referring domains, the domains that actually are pointing to Chumbak. Okay, so you can click on it. And those referring domains kind of give you a good indication of someone who is pointed to Chumbak and found this interesting, okay? So I want you to look at a lot of this and look at the domain rating, which is greater than 30, okay? So YouTube, Google+, Forbes, India Times, Storify. Okay, is Storify? I've never heard of Storify. Let's check out Storify. Yeah. Is there something else? Business Insider. So basically, there are like a lot of these domains. So I want you to look at the domains that you feel are relevant to us, that we can push our content out. Okay. Once you have that, SlideShare. So by the way, we have a couple of infographics. So you can take that infographics, push it on Pinterest, make a board on Pinterest, maybe call it growthspartan.com, and share the credentials with me. I'll also share the branding stuff, and then you kind of like push just infographics out, okay? And you also start looking for more platforms like growthhackers.com. So growth hackers, you've heard of growth hackers? It's basically it kind of gives you like marketing breakdowns of things, so you can kind of push that out. uh, and I'm sure there are platforms like that which are similar to in India, right? So like, is there Your Story, is there Traction, is there Inc 42? Are there things that we can push things out legitimately? Okay. But remember, the way to do this is to genuinely get maybe one or two influencers to really push this out. So, like, can we reach out to one of the founders of Chumbak and be like, hey, listen, we did a complete marketing breakdown of Chumbak, and we would love for you to have a look and see what they have to say, you know? So, stuff like that. So, I told you the goal is to make sure we get at least 2,000 views, and we track everything. Okay, so UTM tracking is, I haven't filled the sheet out, but start tracking everything. So if you don't know how to do the UTM tracking, just Google UTM tracking, Google Analytics. Okay, it says how to track online marketing activities with UTM parameters. So once you've set up UTM, just give me access to my Gmail maybe, and just have a look at this. This is pretty straightforward. Check out Google's post and also on how to do UTM tracking, and just paste the details here. Okay. Now there's something called reporting organic. So this is what we're going to measure week over week. Okay. I want to make sure there is 100% month over month growth. Okay. Let's remove this hyperlink. We don't need this because this is not relevant. Okay. 100% month over month when you're just starting off from zero is not actually as difficult as someone, let's say, is getting 50,000 visits a month. Right? So 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, 16,000, those are all in some sense 100,000. Okay. So we're going to measure this week over week. And all you have to do is go to Google Analytics, pull out each of these data points. How do you do it? If you want me to show you, I can quickly show this to you. Okay, so let's say I'm doing this for a specific client. Okay, so let's assume it's loading. I want to do this, let's say, for one of my clients. So let's say your client right now is Growth Spartan. What you'll do is you'll come here, you'll pick the third, you'll go, first let's say you go to site-wide acquisition, okay? So to go to site-wide acquisition, go to acquisition, okay, go to all traffic, go to channels, okay? And channels will give me site-wide acquisition data. Okay, so this is direct, organic search, referral, source, all that. So this gives me site-wide acquisition, and you're actually calculating sessions. Okay, so you have sessions. Now you want to do 30 days. It says here from 7th March to 5th April. This is month, date, and year format. So you basically want to make sure you go here, go to, what does it say here again? It says March 7th to April 5th. Okay, in this case it's April 3rd, but assuming we were on 6th, it will show 5th. Say click on apply. Okay, and copy this sessions data. So that sessions data will give you this side-by-side sessions. Month over month is basically as simple as just click on this, click on compare to, click on apply, and copy this data, 70.54%. Okay, so that'll be month over data. Similarly, site-wide acquisition data, change the date range and do it for 7 days. Okay, now when you want to do it for organic search, let me reset this for you so that you know where we are. Apply. You're under channels. Under channels, we have organic search. Click on organic search. This is where we're in some sense trying to see how do we get, are we getting traffic for this? Okay. Sorry, are we getting traffic organically? Now you have sessions data here. So similarly, March 7th to April 3rd. So like go to organic sessions, change that to 30 days, and then copy the sessions data again. Okay, so you'll do the same thing for 30 days and for 7 days for organic. For Search Console, it's pretty straightforward. You need to set up Search Console, so let's do that. If you don't know how to do that yet, just figure it out. Literally Google how to set up Search Console. Okay. Go to Google Search Console, add a property, all of this. Super straightforward. Okay. Cool. So once you do that, Search Console will look something like this. And you need to copy basically impressions, clicks, CTR, and average position for the last 28 days. Again, the 28-day range is here. So change the date range here. Okay, from this and this. Just literally copy this stuff. And go to impressions, clicks, CTR, and average position. So impression, clicks, CTR, average position. Okay, so copy this data. This data basically overall tells you how are we doing, are we improving week over week in the overall position of a site. Okay. So this is going to be one of your, I would say, primary tasks. Okay, which is like, how do we reach a 100% month-over-month goal? And I can help you with some of the stuff. Like I think this would be great learning, like, okay, you're a marketer, how do we kind of take this to the next level? Okay. The growth Spartan to create, hey, these are the things, so we're going to be creating some courses, checklists. You're going to basically take over a lot of the checklist stuff. So I'll create the checklist layout, but you'll have to take that piece of content, convert it into a checklist, and then place it on Growth Spartan. Okay. This is our overall how a month over month that the activities that we're gonna do. The book, I've been writing a book, so we'll finish that by April. I want to have 6 blog posts going up by March, 6 in April. It's technically 8 to the bloggers, but I want at least 6 to go live. And we're going to start a podcast as well. Okay, so this is basically on a monthly basis. This is our goal. And I want to be aggressive purely because when you're aggressive, I think you can start getting creative on how we do this. Okay. The other things that you could look at is type Chumbak. Okay. Chumbak growth and see what people have to say. Okay. So you have a Your Story link, you have Rediff, you have Economic Times, you have LiveMint, VC Circle. Maybe it might make sense to reach out to VC Circle and be like, hey, listen, we saw that you've written this. What do you think? This is again interesting. You have a growth story with Chumbak as a YouTube channel. Okay. Can we go to YouTube and in some sense push this in the comment section? I don't want to get shady. I don't want to come across as someone who's spammy. Okay. But that would be really helpful. Okay. But I think the best way to do it is through influencers, finding startup folks, finding people who are just really invested in Chumbak's growth. So even maybe if you know a few employees from Chumbak and kind of reaching out to them, that might be interesting. Okay. I guess let's get started with this. And if you have any questions, let me know.